Hinge is hands down the best dating app for meeting quality women. And I don't just say that, because I've mastered the Hinge algorithm myself and even found a long-term partner through it. On top of that, I've helped hundreds of men crack the code so that they stop wasting time and actually get better results with online dating. So in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how the Hinge algorithm works, why most guys are invisible without even realizing it, and how you can use this knowledge to hack the algorithm yourself. Now, a wise man once said, "A patient cured is a customer lost." And in the world of online dating, that idea feels familiar. Many people speculate that these apps are designed to keep you hooked, pushing you to spend more money while intentionally hiding matches that might actually be a great fit. Now, as a coach, I do recommend the paid features as they will prioritize the access, and results often happen quicker on average. So to some degree, it is in fact a pay-to-play game. However, in terms of keeping you as a customer as long as possible, Hinge actually denies this. In fact, their whole model is designed to be deleted, and unlike most apps, they actually back this up with a system called the Gail Shapely algorithm, which powers the entire matchmaking process. And here's how it works. You see, the algorithm tracks how often your profile is shown compared to how many likes you receive. It then matches you with people who have similar scores. On top of that, it layers things like age preferences, job titles, religious backgrounds, and even the prompts you've liked before. So in simple terms, the algorithm doesn't just show you who you like, it also shows you who's most likely to like you back. This is why, unlike other dating apps, it's almost impossible to never receive any likes or matches with Hinge, making it by far the easiest to get results on despite your presentation. And honestly, from my own personal experience with using every major dating app, Hinge by far has the most accurate matchmaking system I've seen. Now, to break it down even deeper, the algorithm primarily looks at three signals. Number one is going to be your profile signal. So this is your photos, your prompts, your bio, etc., the pillars of presentation. Now, number two is going to be the intent signals. This is your swiping habits. Do you comment or like? Do you mass like without any sort of filter? Do you send roses? How fast you reply? How often you're on the app? Etc. And number three is going to be the outcome signals. Do women actually consistently reply to your text? Do women swipe right on you? Do the chats actually lead to dates? Do you have a high number of right swipes compared to those light swipes, etc.? So if your profile signals look clean and responsive, Hinge is going to test you with more and better profiles who also match your signals. Now, on the other hand, if they look lazy or low response, your profile is going to perform like shit. Now, I hear what you're saying. Austin, I'm shadow banned. I hear this so often all the time. And that's not always true. Most likely, you just have very low profile signals. As stated before, receiving 0 likes on Hinge is essentially impossible with half a degree of effort. However, if you do insist that you are shadow banned, my recommendation is to first change the location on the app and test and see if that changes anything. And then if needed, reset the entire account. You can do this by going to the delete account and settings and requesting a fresh start. This will reset your profile signals from baseline. Now, this works because new or refreshed profiles almost always get an algorithm boost in terms of visibility and also the attractiveness of women you see. That's why a lot of guys see a spike in attention right after joining or after swapping their photos or prompts. Now, Hinge is also going to take account of the type of woman you're swiping on, and if your profile signals rank high, they will try to pair you with that archetype of woman or personality traits more consistently. This is sometimes featured as the most compatible match in the discovery feed whenever you first log on Hinge. Now, I actually have a funny story, and this is a few years ago. I was in Atlanta. Of course, time we get there, me and my homie were getting on the dating apps and we got on Hinge. And I'm like, oh my God, Atlanta has amazing, beautiful women here, because this is my first time really seeing it on Hinge. But I go to my friend's profile and he's seeing a completely different type of woman. I'm talking about like 4 to 5 points lower than what I'm seeing. But keep in mind, the way we presented ourselves was completely different. And honestly, during that time, he was, kind of out of shape, wasn't the best in terms of his grooming and whatnot. And we were confused. We were like, what's going on? But from that experience, alongside with the other things I've heard, people have said that Hinge's algorithm is really based on a looks match, meaning they try to pair you with people they think are aligned with your level of attractiveness. Now, I started to question this. Is this really true, or is this just speculation? And after some research, kind of find out, not exactly. You see, Hinge hasn't officially confirmed that they have a looks match sort of rating system. Once again, it bases your profile score on the Gail Shapely algorithm. So if lots of women like your photos relative to the other guys in your area, Hinge is gonna assume that you're in higher demand and they assume that you're more attractive. Then from there, it starts showing you the women who are also in higher demand and who are also more attractive. attractive. Now, if your likes rarely turn into matches or you're getting a lot of less swipes on your profile, the app then is going to lower your exposure to attractive women, instead showing you to more women who they feel is more in your league. So while there is no official look score, your attractiveness is being inferred through data. That's why it feels like it has a looks matching algorithm, because in practice, it kind of is. Now, getting deeper into the intent signals, despite popular belief, Hinge actually rewards activity. So the more you use the app, the more it's going to actually reward you. That's why swiping on the active today section can be so powerful. It's going to show you who's been on Hinge in the last 24 hours. These women are more likely to reply, and Hinge knows that. So when you focus your likes and comments there, your reply rate is actually going to go up. And when you're active yourself, your profile also gets pushed to more women in that category. Now, personally, I've taken long breaks from dating apps where I'll keep the profile active, but I won't go on it for weeks. And when you come back, you might notice that the results have stalled or that they're not pushing you out anymore. That's because they understand and know that you are no longer actively using the app. And through that, they're going to punish you. But at the same time, and there's a fine line here, a bit of nuance, and that is you don't want to use the app too much. So I'm talking about like on it for hours and hours a day. I personally recommend no more than 30 minutes to an hour per day, but at the least just try to open it at least once per day to show the algorithm that you are in fact active. Now let's talk about how to play each part of Hinge with the algorithm in mind. So up first, we have your main feed or the discovery feed. Through testing, what I found is that comments instead of likes actually get more replies. It makes sense. Whenever you put a thoughtful message, the woman is just more likely to reply to it than a like. However, if you cannot think of a specific comment within, I would say 10 to 15 seconds, just go ahead and send a like. Once again, we're not using dating apps as a means of, using it a lot. We want it to be quick and efficient. Now, also, you want to aim for quality over volume. Whenever you mass like without showing any sort of intent or any sort of standard, Hinge is going to think that your type is sort of all over the place, and they're not going to really curate the type of woman who you're really looking to attract. Now, I did mention the most compatible section, and you actually want to take note of that whenever you do see it in your feed, because it's going to give a clue on how Hinge is actually perceiving you. And so if you see that your most compatible is actually not your type, or maybe she's unattractive, then that's a sign that we either need to change our pictures, prompts, or just overall our swiping habits. Now, another section on Hinge is the standouts, and this is where the top 5% of profiles are shown. So without saying, you should know that competition here is fierce. These are essentially the most attractive women on the app. Now here, it doesn't hurt to shoot your shot, but just know that this is the equivalent to shooting a full court basketball shot blindfolded. And so the likelihood of you actually scoring is very, very low. But if you have no ego and nothing to lose, then by all means, you can do this. One caveat though is that with this section, you do have to send a rose. So a rose is the equivalent to Tinder's super like, meaning that it's gonna stand out a little bit more, and you have to pay for roses. Now, me personally, I do not like sending out roses just due from the fact of validation reasons. It seems a little bit too try hard, too much for me. So I never send them out. However, another clue that you can look for is to see if you get any roses. And if you're not, that means you're not in the standout section, or women just don't find your profile appealing. I think a good baseline is to at least aim for 1 to 2 roses a month inbound. Now, speaking of inbound, my favorite part of the app is being able to see who likes you. Now, with the free version, you can actually see who likes you, unlike other apps. However, there is a limit to this. When you have the paid version, you can see completely who has liked you. And for me and how I use apps, this is where I spend most of the time. Now, in terms of how you want to use this, you actually want to keep this queue very clean. You want to go through it effectively. And if you have a good account, you should be getting at least 5 likes per day inbound from women who are your type. And if you're not, once again, that is a sign that you need to redo your pictures, redo your prompts, and overall your front end and presentation. Now, if you guys don't know, I've been helping guys get better results with the online dating for the past 4 years, and I've seen amazing results with using what I call the Romeo effect. Now, the Romeo effect isn't your plug and play PUA system. We're not throwing events like we're club promoters. We're not code approaching 20 to 50 women a day. We're effectively using a time-tested, proven online dating strategy that positions you as a prize that actually attracts women who are high interest and who actually show up to the date. Not only that, but we'll show you effectively how to text so that way you turn those matches into real dates within 3 days or less. Currently, we have over 100 testimonials, and if you click the link down below, you'll see how the Romeo effect can actually change your dating life for the better. So after this video, be sure to watch it. I'm gonna leave a link down below, also within the pinned comments. Now let's talk about the messaging queue. So this is the your turn section. Over the past few months, Hinge actually set up a new system in which you have an 8 limit rule. goal. Now, this is to avoid burnout and to encourage more responses that actually go somewhere. In fact, I think this is really good, especially on the women's side. And we all know they are bombarded with matches, bombarded with options. And so when there are limits, it's just good to more so have that way we actually know the conversation is going somewhere. However, if the combo does get flat, let's say you're not able to transfer her or if she goes ghost, then I do recommend that you hide the message. That way you can have more inbound messages and just overall messages within that queue in itself. Now let's go ahead and put this all together, because by now you should know how the algorithm works and just overall how the platform works. Number one, we have to optimize the photos and your look, because you're gonna have 3 seconds to make a good first impression. Women are swiping right and left and probably looking at max 3 pictures in terms of swiping through your profile. And so that's why the first picture is so important. It needs to be clear, face, ideally some context of the body, good location, either looking slightly off from the camera or looking at the camera. Your face must be shown. No group photos, no mirror pics, no selfies. Now, every single week I work with a lot of clients, and the first thing I do is look at how they're currently running their profiles. And I'll see a lot of hobbies, group shots and whatnot. And one thing I tell my clients is that you guys gotta remember, you are selling yourself. You are the product. I know it sounds good, but women really don't care about what hobbies you're presenting or, if you're social. That's all that mainstream sort of garbage that they promoted to you guys, thinking that's gonna get results. Trust me, as somebody who has seen results on the app and who works with hundreds of guys every single month, they don't care. So we wanna use those hobbies and those group shots as more so either a filler or something that enhances the profile, but we should never lead with it, nor should we have anything more than one picture of each. This also goes with hat and sunglasses. Just cut it out altogether. No need to wear sunglasses. Actually, you make more of a connection when women can see your eyes, and match rate actually goes up. Now, a part of the pillars of presentation, we talked about prompts. Just to make this clear, you never want to make the prompt about yourself or make it too logical or disqualifying. So when I say logical, typical Sunday, watching football, drinking beer. What I like to do, read books and play golf. Like, nobody cares. With prompts, we have to make it more so about her. And the point is to evoke a positive emotion so that we can get women to reply. You see, with the Romeo effect, the whole goal with the system is to get more women responding to you. So that way you don't have to do a lot of outbound. I mostly work with busy guys. I'm busy myself. And so we don't want to spend a lot of time on the app. And also when I say disqualifying, I'm talking about putting filters out there, disqualifying potential women. So don't go out on a date with me if you don't like blank. Like, you're effectively disqualifying women on the front end. The front end should be as wide as possible, and then filter through the messages in itself and through your own personal vetting. So a good example of a prompt may be, unpopular opinion, espresso martinis are a dessert. So that's sort of like a emotion evoking, because we all know women love espresso martinis, and you're given an opinion that isn't offensive. And so that's more likely to get a response, in which then you can start a conversation. Now, number 3, remember, stay active, because Hinge does reward activity. Try to log in at least once a day. However, do not spend more than 30 minutes to an hour on the app, because this is, once again, not meant to waste your time. It's more so meant to make your dating life easier, so that way you can focus on other things that are more important to you in your life, be it your career, be it your business, be it your hobbies, friends, etc. Also, when you are on the app, be sure to prioritize the active today section in terms of your swiping, because that's where the highest return on investment will be. Now, lastly, I'm going to tell you to track your data. You see, dating is quite essentially like sales. All the best sales teams, they track their stats, inbound, outbound, etc. And so with dating, you need to track how many likes you're getting per day, your match to date ratio, like percent, how many women you have messaging you, how much of that is actually turning into dates, etc. In fact, we actually do this for all of our clients. We have a proprietary date tracking sheet for all 3 major platforms, including Hinge. Another benefit of joining the Romeo effect, once again, link will be down below. And then if all else fails, just try a refresh. You can swap your photos, swap your prompts. I recommend swapping them every few months just to test and also keep things fresh. And then if you need to, just reset the whole profile all together. So I'll end off with this, and that is, truly hacking the algorithm is all about mastering the signals that we just talked about, alongside with reading the data and making changes from there. That's how you win the game, and that's how you're gonna get better results. Once again, if you wanna work with me, I'm gonna leave a link down below where you can see how the Romeo effect can be installed into your dating life right now. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.